Conference will now be recorded.
That's why you're over losing Kelly.
Yes.
I didn't took a shower.
I didn't know that at the time.
I'm sorry, you've been in total distress before meetings or.
All right, it's 1:30, we'll call the meeting to order. TJ, please, in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, since Mr. Fuller's absent, we'll need to appoint a secretary. Hear a motion to appoint a secretary.
Not to appoint secretary.
Who would you like to appoint?
TJ. I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. So you will serve as secretary. The minutes from October 2nd of 2025. Any additions or changes or concerns about those?
Move to approve the minutes as presented. Second.
Favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carries. And the agenda, any changes?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. And the 2026 planning and zoning meeting dates.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Okay,
Wait, make sure you look at the dates, because not all of them are the first Thursday, just warning.
What's the first one?
Yeah, the P and Z, our P and Z meeting dates, they're Thursday, but there was a couple that we ended up having to move based on holidays.
Got
So
I think I'm gone the first two. January, February.
January 13th and
I'm gonna be gone January.
January 8th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll be gone January 13th. Not me.
And I have no idea. I'm just gonna play it by ear like I always do.
Okay, then.
Okay, any conflicts? Anybody?
I'm here.
Good? Okay. So we'll move right into our public hearing for change of zoning 372 for Isaac Almanza. Our format for a public hearing is that we'll hear from the applicant and Amber, and then after that, we'll ask for comments from the public. We ask that when you speak, take turns and stand up and state your name and address for the meeting to be recorded for the minutes. I'll ask you, if you don't, I'll remind you, I'm not mad at you, just reminding you. So, and then we'll go back and forth on that a few times until there's no more comments. And then we'll close the public hearing. And at the time we close the public hearing, we ask you to refrain from our discussion unless you're called on. That'll be the format for the hearing. Any questions? Okay. Amber?
This is change of zoning 372 for Isaac Almanza. This is the property up at St. Ange Road. It has been over a year since this was heard, so therefore they can reapply. This is St. Ange Steinmeier Farms area. They're requesting to go from A1 to A2, so general ag to ag residential, to subdivide. With that, let's see if there's anything I haven't said. Access to the parcels will come off of the St. Ange Road. They would subdivide it into 4 lots per 40 acres with a density of the 8 to 10 acres per without the subdivision. They will have their own water supply, individual septic systems. The documents provided in there show the write-up from the applicant kind of going through the process. I don't need to read those to you as you guys have those. This is showing the boundary of the land. So that's the outside boundary of the change of zoning. General location. Again, general location. This just shows the information, the tax parcel information. So that is really it. It's a change of zoning only. There's no layout provided with the, like what the lots will look like at this time, because that'll go through the plating process, which is with the city of Spearfish. So we won't, change of zoning, you do not need to provide that. It's just whether or not it's an appropriate location or not.
Okay, anything from the applicant?
Nothing
No,
further.
Okay. Any other comments from anyone? Yep.
Sure. My name is Tim Vanderhyde. I live on Mitchell Lane, which is just over the hill from this proposed development. My questions have to do with the Lawrence County zoning ordinance and the existing uses. This particular piece of property is surrounded by agricultural property, and on the south side, if you have the same map I do, you probably do, is a pretty high use agricultural use. Mr. Randall, which was it? What is it? Renshaw, I figured that. Raises horses on this area in pink, which is now zoned agricultural. All of the land this way is agricultural. You can't see if I hold it that way. And of course, it's surrounded by agricultural land on all sides. Now, as I read your zoning ordinance, it provides for this residential agricultural district to exist between A1 agricultural districts and municipal boundaries. It doesn't say anywhere in the county that's zone ag, you can put this. It has to be between. This particular parcel is surrounded on all sides by agriculture, and it doesn't fit the definition, your definition of what can be rural residential property. I mean, if you read it the way that it's would have to be read to allow this particular change, then you could do this anywhere in the county. You could file a petition to be in the special zoning ordinance, and the ordinance says between, and ordinances have to be read in a way that all of the words have some meaning. And if you read this in a way that would allow this particular change under these particular circumstances, there's no way it's between a municipality and an ag. The other concern that I have is the proposal beyond this, and maybe this isn't the right place to raise this, is I don't know if y'all are familiar with St. Ange Road, but it's become quite busy. It's a small 2-lane rural road with a few driveways going out onto it, but a lot of people are beginning to use it to go between St. Ange and Highway 85. The exit that is proposed for this 10-unit development is going to be right out on the St. Ange Road. And it's going to be very, very difficult to do that in a safe manner. So putting this level of density in the middle of an agricultural community is just an invitation for problems, particularly with respect to the land between Spearfish and the proposed development. This is a pretty intense operation, this horse raising operation. And I don't know, I mean, maybe there aren't very many ag people on the commission, but people don't like the smell of manure. Okay, And I will tell you that there is an odor of manure, which is very noticeable at times, depending on the temperature and the wind. And we're gonna have a situation where we've got 10 homes, 20 dogs, and probably 10 owners who don't like the smell of manure. And that's why we have the zoning ordinance that we have. This just simply doesn't fit within the ordinance. That's my comment.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Well, we can get my thoughts together. Joan Waters, 11575 Steinmeier Lane. Thank you for hearing us all. Appreciate that. A couple things. I just kind of wanted to reiterate what Mr. Vanderhyde said about that distancing, saying it's within 1,000 feet of Elkhorn Ridge development. Yes, it is, but that 1,000 feet is agricultural. And you have to look at that as that. You can't just say, yeah, it's only 1,000 feet and we'll hop over that. You can't do that. It's not fair to those people, and you can't do that for upcoming things going forward. A couple things that came to mind for me is I was looking at the answers and stuff Mr. Almanza had written there. That proposed would allow for additional residential opportunities to an area that is experiencing significant growth in residential development. I think we kind of hit our peak. Sales are actually going down. And there are big developments. On Colorado Boulevard, it's going to be a lot of developments there. And also off of Rainbow Road on the other side of the hill over by the airport. A lot of homes going in there. And both of those areas, they already have access to the city's sewer and water. So that's not an issue. Over the property Mr. Almanza owns, so we're talking a potential of 9 to 10 homes there. They all need to put in their own wells, which could be an issue because water is an issue out there. And they all have their own septic systems. That could or cannot be an issue. I know it all rolls downhill, as we know. But the thing is about that is there's really no need for it. There was a potential for a need, but now we have those other big developments going in. So there is really no need for that. And it impacts a lot of people. And people buy, they just don't go ahead and buy ag property just for the fun of it. I mean, they have something intended to use with it. And there's a reason why they buy ag property and not residential property. Like I would no more go into a residential area and say, hey, I want to make all this property ag. They'd laugh me out of the door. And it's just kind of unfair to do that on the reverse. It's all ag property and say, hey, we want to make it rural, even though it's agricultural, residential. It can be an issue. Hopefully everybody will be great. I got 30 horses out there. I got a boatload of horse poo, and it all goes down the hill. I don't know if that's going to be an issue. Flies are an issue. I don't know if kids shooting BB guns and safety of everybody out there, people as well as the horses. Those are issues that I think about too. So, and also, let's see. So, and this is coming from my husband. I'm not the developer. I don't know anything about that. But he said that there's a plan for that area. There's normally, when you go for rezoning, there would be a plan put out with that, how this is going to be done, how it's to be set up, how the roads will come out onto St. Anne's Road. And apparently there is no development plan, or maybe he has a
There
development.
won't be.
There won't be.
It doesn't have to be with the change of zoning. That'll come afterwards. He will have to do one, but you don't do it as part of the change of zoning.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's a
that's,
separate process.
okay, that was our misunderstanding then. Okay, all right. Well, those are my questions. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, anyone else?
I'm Roger Ranchow on 1570 Trace Cross Lane, right south of Isaac's property. My wife and I raised quarter horses. I guess right now today we have 29 head. This is not, I've got 186 acres of hay ground over by Sturgis. I've got hay coming out of my ears. And I try to sell it, I can't get it sold. it's hard to sell hay in this area. Anyway, so I bought 30 head sheep here, a couple days ago. And I'm gonna feed them hay, and I'm also thinking about buying about 20 head of cows to feed this hay to. And so, what I'm saying is, I'm gonna stay raising livestock, I'm not going anyplace, I'm staying there.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Phelan Johnner, we're at 20070 St. Ange Road. And I do want to say that I know my biggest point that I made at the last meeting I was here last year was the point of following the comprehensive plan for Lawrence County. And in my opinion, this would have been a change in zoning that would have followed that plan much more than the prior higher density request. So whether you follow the plan with, the being surrounded by A1 ag or not, I have to thank the landowner and this this board for, really putting that comprehensive plan in front of all your decisions. So for me, that was probably, I would love to see it stay A1, just for my enjoyment of the area. But this was, to me, a much better plan than the higher density before.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Applicant, do you have anything?
No.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Anybody online have any comments? Okay, well, at this point, we'll close the public hearing. Okay, discussion?
The purpose of A2 is a buffer from ag to higher density. And I agree with the lady that just spoke, that this is a much better use for that property than going with a higher density. I think you've got the Sundog Stables, which is a commercial entity. It's got horses, but it's commercial. It should be in for a CUP, in my opinion. But so you've got commercial popped in there, and you do have ag around it. But there's also I don't know if it's a state law or do we adopt it, where you move into an agriculture area. Too bad you don't like the smells. That's too bad. Just get used to it. You move there along with the cattle, along with the sheep, or whatever else is going to be there. Ag is protected in that way from people moving in and complaining. I don't remember what the law was, but
To write the farm statute.
right, the farm statute. Okay, so I don't have any heartburn over this. I think it's a good solution for that piece of property.
Mr. Chairman? I was going to point out, as Amber said, plating would go through the city of Spearfish, but assuming present facts remain the same, that St. Ange Road is a county road, the county will have to approve any approach or approaches onto St. Ange Road. That would start with the highway superintendent and then ultimately have to be approved by the county commission. So it would be a mixed jurisdictional question there, but I don't know what's proposed in terms of access, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going to happen. Does that make sense to everybody? It has to be further discussion later on.
It's just rules he has to follow once they get rezoned. And then for the plan.
And if I may, John analyzes site distance. He follows a manual, some guidelines. And so it has to be a safe approach and or approaches in order to be approved.
This is zoned A1 all the way around, that's correct?
Yes.
I guess I have heartburn over the whole thing. We're creating an island out there that there's no need for. I don't agree with it.
I appreciate the fact that it's an A2 instead of rural residential, because it is a lot less density, but I still am concerned about potential conflicts, even with the Right to Farm Act. We've seen this already with developments moving close into agriculture that create conflicts, and so I'm probably going to be a nay on this one.
One question I have for the applicant is, do you have any plans of doing a central well and water system at all?
We've got a few different options we're looking at.
Okay.
One could be a central well.
That's really not a requirement of this stuff, but I was just wondering for my own.
Yeah, we've got a couple different options that probably wouldn't come down to individual wells. There would be a central water.
Okay. Any other thoughts? Questions?
I'd like to say some, you guys probably already heard, Roger Ranch out 115703. JR, I seen he was your Elkhorn, and he approached me the other day, and they're going to acidize the well there at the golf course. And for the reason for that is so they get more capacity. And he was wanting to kind of use my driveway a little bit to do that. They have to get semis in there and stuff. But, so, he's gonna schedule another meeting, but they must not be getting enough water there. If they're gonna spend the money to acidize the well, and they might need more water. I don't know what, but anyway, that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna acidize their well.
I think they're on city water consumption.
Any other thoughts? Yep.
Well, I think it's a good fit and it's less density and, you know, we've dealt with ag close by, there's a buffer. And it's gonna happen. Might as well happen now. I didn't understand your island.
I feel like we're just setting a bad precedent here. You know, go from the city out, something should be A2
City.
next to that.
City limits is right here on this map.
Well, true, but that was a mess somebody else made. That wasn't us.
Well, we're,
That's the purpose of A2, so that's why we set it up.
Anything else?
That's how I remember.
You're just making a recommendation, obviously, to the county commission.
Yeah.
This is not a binding decision today.
And I'm not making a motion because I got to deal with it later.
Yeah,
I'll make a motion to deny.
One second.
so fails for the lack of a second.
Fails for lack of a second.
I'll make it.
I make a motion to approve.
Didn't I?
I was going to.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
82.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Jennings?
Nay.
Kazoo?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Homer?
Aye.
Ewing?
Nay.
I'll do aye.
So 5-2, motion will carry with recommendation of approval. Right?
County, yeah.
Okay, make sure.
Okay.
Mr. Killer.
So this is gonna go to county commissioners now. You have another packet to send out. We give it to them, they already have their sign. And it gets scheduled for November 25th at 9 a.m. And it'll be in the same room, but in front of the county commissioners instead. Yep, for that one.
Okay, we'll now do a public hearing for CUP grandfathered amendment for Mountain View Ranches. Is there anybody here new that did not hear the instructions for the public hearing?
Bruce is out.
I think
Yeah,
there's
they're
some other
in the
people
crowd.
out.
Yeah, no takers though.
There's no one in the hallway that I can see that's here for this, so.
Okay.
Does anyone need to hear the instructions for the public hearing again? Okay,
All packet.
remember, what we got on this.
Oh, let me pull that one.
There's a bigger, you cleared out some room. There's like one, two.
Well, there's no,
people.
I'll get up and go. There's room. Thank you.
Oh. Yeah. Let's try that one. Catch.
Okay, so this will be a public hearing. Our format for the public hearing will be that we'll hear from the applicant and Amber, the information, and then we'll open it up to the public for comments. We ask that when you make comments, please take turns. And when you speak, stand up and state your name and your address so the meeting is recorded. We'll go back and forth several times, however long we need to with comments. At that point, we'll close the public hearing and return all the discussion to the board, at which time we ask you to refrain from our discussion unless you're called on.
So this one is kind of a different thing, just, I'll start with that. So we call it a CUP amendment, but it has no CUP number attached to it. After we went through this, it was because this is the Centennial Quarry property. It includes the Centennial Quarry property and then the neighbor, which is Mountain View Ranches. Centennial Quarry is a grandfathered use. It's been out there. They didn't ever have a CUP, so there is no number attached to it. But Bruce and I decided the best way to do an amendment, because it is changing the boundary, just like we would treat any other one, was to have them hold a public hearing, send out notifications, and then have just that, follow that same procedure. So that's what we're doing. It's a lot line adjustment is what it ends up being. So Centennial Quarry boundary will change, and it will add 20 acres to the neighboring property, which is, was it Lean Outlot 1 and 2? 1, I guess, is what it'll end up being. So it ends up changing the lot line is what it ends up doing. But just because it did involve the property, there was a lot of discussion because it did involve Centennial Quarry. So we felt the best way to deal with it was to have a public hearing. But it is basically a lot line adjustment.
And we're actually, this would actually shrink the size of the quarry then?
Correct. It would be 20, I think it's about 22 acres is what it ends up being less out of the quarry that is currently there.
Okay.
So that's kind of it's a little more detailed, but that's the gist of the whole thing. And then we had them do let's see if I can pull this up here. You'll see a new plat coming that'll actually show that adjustment. So this is just the amendment part, and then we'll have a plat part. So you kind of have two separate things to vote on today. This was just from the attorney, and Bart is here if you have any specific questions, but he provided this to you, just explaining pretty much what I just did in a very short fashion, not a letter. But it does kind of just explain it all. This is the acreage that would be removed from the quarry, added in to the adjacent parcel. We did feel that the best way to make sure that we kept these parcels organized was to do a replat on the whole thing. So like Centennial Quarry lots 1 and 2 will actually all be combined. So we were able to work with the quarry to make like a new boundary, which will just clean it up. So you won't have that lot line running in between the quarry. Basically now it runs right through the middle. So it cleans it up. The purpose for it is because right now the access to this lot up here, if you can see my cursor up here, there's actually an access that comes through the quarry. It's becoming a little bit unsafe, and you can see the driveway where it comes up here because they have to drive right through the quarry to get up there. There's also a driveway that comes off the highway here, but in the wintertime, this is really, really steep. So they would like to they're going to end up rerouting it, and there's going to be a driveway coming right along this ridge, and then it'll connect up. So it'll just make it a little cleaner to get in and out of there. So that's basically what the amendment is for. It's not changing anything that's currently happening with the quarry or anything else. It's just moving that lot line over.
Okay, anything from the applicant?
Yeah, Bart Banks here on behalf of the applicant, and only thing I would add to that
Can you
is
say your address, please, sir?
my address.
Yeah.
I live in Rapids City. This is this property's up on Highway
Yep.
85, so it's owned by the
For the minutes, we need
Yep,
your
just for
address.
this, we need to prove it.
Your
my
address?
personal address.
Yes. Or
Or your business.
Business
54
address.
Founders Park Drive.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. So the only thing I would add is Amber did a good job of explaining what we're trying to do. We bought a piece of the quarry so we can improve access, and that is the purpose of it. I do have a 911 address now that's separate for the two lien parcels. So to the extent that's a question, we've got that info. So, and then any questions you got.
Mr. Chairman? Or did you look into, has it been, this part been cleared from reclamation from the DANR?
We're in the process of doing that.
That'll be another step, that would be.
They'll
contingency.
wait until you guys have acted before that way they will know exactly what they're removing.
Yeah, they need the,
You
they
need
needed
the
the
footprint.
boundary, they needed the plat.
They need the
boundary.
footprint for that.
Yeah, so they can know exactly how many acres.
Just be sure everybody heard that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
It is public hearing.
Okay. Well, hearing no comments, we'll close the public hearing and move to board discussion. Do you have any
I'm
concerns?
still a little confused on the CUP amendment. Is there a?
There is no
CUP?
CUP.
So what are we amending?
We're amending the boundary, because when
We're
we
amending the
grandfathered, it was
Boundary,
signed.
but we're not amending the CUP.
No, but there is no CUP number, so we had to call it something.
Oh,
So we did an agreement with them.
5 years ago.
5 years ago, that if there was any changes to the boundary, they would follow the same procedure that we would do with anybody else. So that's where this came in,
Okay, so
because we kind of grandfathered their boundary, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, their historical boundary was identified, their area, any changes to that would need to go through a process, if that makes sense. So if they would ever add on an additional area above and beyond that, then they'd have to apply for a new CUP.
Sure.
if that makes sense.
So we just don't have a process for changing the boundary without the CUP.
Correct.
A grandfather, yeah.
Yeah, a grandfathered one. So
Pretty
this,
neat.
we felt this way, the general public couldn't say that we didn't follow the
Sure.
procedure.
Yep.
When
So
we
is
write
any
it down.
certain verbiage you want,
Yeah.
Bruce, that covers this, changing
Question.
this?
I don't think so.
in a Positive.
It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so if you look at the recommendation, staff
Yeah.
recommends approval of the CUP amendment to the boundary of an existing and grandfathered quarry to allow additional safer and year-round access for surrounding landowner, as well as reduces the size of the existing and grandfathered quarry. That was the wording.
Okay.
That would be my recommendation.
Any other discussion, questions? Motions? I'll make a motion to approve of this CUP amendment to the boundary of an existing and grandfathered quarry to allow additional safer year-round access for the surrounding landowner, as well as reduces the size of the existing and grandfathered quarry.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
So this is gonna go in front of county commission on November 25th at 9 a.m.
Same room.
Yep. TJ, that was you that made the second, right?
Yeah.
No, 3 minutes.
Okay, the layout plan for Kissick Water and Oil Service.
Okay, first and foremost, I usually always tell you, Dave did his little thing. It's in the very beginning of the packet. And this one is a layout plan for the Kissick Water and Oil Service, which is Heritage Hills Estates, which is the one off of Pittman Lane. Most people don't recognize that being Pittman Lane. So this was the very top part of that subdivision. If you remember, when they originally did the lots, they were trying to do some kind of interesting access points, we'll say, on the very top of that. It didn't go over very well. So they went ahead and built the roads as you guys approved them, and then left this bigger part kind of all as one piece. And then they were waiting to see what would happen, you know, if it would sell or not sell or whatnot. Well, it hasn't, but the roads are now in, like they're actually in place now. So with that, they're looking at trying to subdivide that off into 3 different parcels, 7A, 7B, and 7C, and they would utilize it by driveways off of the road that was built. So there'd just be 3 driveways, one into each one, instead of having the roadway go all the way up into it.
Your private drive.
Yeah, private driveways, and more than likely, you know, by the way the lots are broken out, they're probably gonna build kind of down in the valley area, I would assume a little bit more. But if they do go up top, you can look at the fire plan in there. Basically, you know, if they stay lower, they wouldn't have to do much, but if they go up into that treat area at all, then they will have to do something with structures. That's kind of how it's written.
I like it.
Yeah, I still think it fits what kind of their overall intent was, but at least now we know the road's all in and it's, the loop is working well and all of that. So that's it, I guess, with it. They do have, like I said, they have the fire plan. Highway department was out there. What, September, well, it's been a while ago, so I mean, he already went out and looked at everything. The road's been done. And representation is here if you have any specific questions. It's a layout plan today. They'll have to go through preliminary and final plats.
Anything from the applicants?
Anything to add? No?
Looks like you got it covered.
Okay. Any discussions? Motions?
This is the layout. We approve the layout.
Yeah, usually you do a motion to approve the layout.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we'll-
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Motion carries.
So I think the only thing that I would, and they already know this, but the highway superintendent does want to do an updated visit, just once you're kind of done with everything to make sure. And then if there's any changes made to the roads, obviously we have to have an updated as-built.
Then plan.
Okay. All right, that's it on that one.
Okay, the preliminary and final plat for Timothy and Connie Green.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So this one is a combination of lots 28, 26 and 29, and they're calling it 28R. So it's just combining two lots together.
Way better than-
I was just doing this. Not that.
And it was an exempt plat, just, you know, because they're combining the two lots together, so it's an exempt.
Do we need to vote on that?
Yes.
And it doesn't affect the easement, the utility easement at all? Okay, the lot line, okay.
Motion approved with consent.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It is. Okay,
Motion to approve
Approve
the
preliminary and
Com-
final.
combination of
Combine
the lots.
preliminary and
Yes.
final.
Second.
okay, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Preliminary plat for Mountain View Ranches.
Well, speaking of, this is the plat that we just talked about. We were able to go through and do a layout on it. This is a preliminary only, so if you look at this, it's basically pretty much about where the drawing showed. This is the original lots 1R and 2R, and then this portion right here will get platted up into lean outlot 1R, which will be 72.06 acres. So it'll increase this. Also with this, since they were out there replatting, we tried to clean it up a little bit because we had a little random piece on this side of the road. So that's now gonna be lot 3, which is 5 acres. So it gets that really, there was a random, it was a portion of it, but it just kind of cleaned it up so that we have actual boundaries of all of it because it was on the other side.
Okay, we need to decide if it's exempt from the fire plan.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And then the preliminary plat.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Does that work for you, Bart?
It does. Does that show how many acres that we took out of the quarry? I think it was closer to 25.
I'd have to add all the acreages together to figure it out. I don't think it does show on here.
I think it was a little more
A
than.
little more,
22.
because the 22 is what we had kind of looked at before, but
We're shrinking a little more than.
that's.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Now, next item is a preliminary plat for Kurt and Danette Bauer.
All right. So this one. All right, So this one, is there anybody else out there? Oh, okay. Alright. So the owners are requesting to subdivide another 5-acre lot that their current house sits on. They previously had broke off 5 acres in 2019 for their daughter and another 5 acres for their son in 2022. Access to the property comes off of North Rochford Road to Goodat Road. Access to the new lot is a 30-foot private driveway easement created in 2019. They utilize the existing well house and have installed a 20-foot wide water line easement to share the well between the properties. The homes all do have individual septic systems. The larger portion of the property also has an approved conditional use permit 483 for a campground, which houses 14 permanent campground sites. At the time that was approved, the county maintained the access to the property, which is Goodat Road. A fire plan was completed and has no recommendations for work to be completed except for the general maintenance of the land. There was a change because Goodat Road, which currently connects to Rochford Road from the lots, travels through the United States Forest Service. County Highway Department has an agreement with the Forest Service to provide snow removal maintenance only, and was removed from the county highway secondary system at the February 11th, 2025 commission meeting to become a minimum maintenance road.
So it's not removed from the system, it's just changed the designation.
The owners that utilize Goodat Road do not have an agreement with the Forest Service, it's the county that has it. So John Bay, it would be in the owner's best interest to obtain an easement agreement with the Forest Service to ensure future access. So that was what John is requesting. Just because there was that change from when the old plats were approved, it was still Goodat Road and it was, normal business. County commission was just doing, or the county was just doing what they were doing, but that has changed since that time. So that's just fairly new, 2025, just in February. So that was John's recommendation. So staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat with the condition that an access agreement with the Forest Service would be obtained prior to the final plat submission. The government shutdown will delay access agreements to be completed in a timely manner. And we are running into this. But when it came down to it, I mean, it's fine really what they're doing. The thing is though, is this should be treated no differently than anything else. We now have 3 5-acre parcels out there. Normally it's a dead end road. If it had a cul-de-sac, 800 feet is all it would be. So I'm just looking at it from a subdivision standpoint. If this was a regular subdivision plat, would we allow it? I don't know. The only difference is that the road is already there. Goodat Road's been in existence.
This is Park Forest.
It is Park Forest. So overall density, they meet the density standards. It's not that. It's just because they're for their own purpose or for their kids' purpose or whatever, they still have to meet the same requirements.
I couldn't quite tell on this map because the lines are fuzzy. Where is the new lot? Is this the new lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
And originally when that was built, it was just built on like the remaining acreage. Now they're trying to break it off into a 5-acre, and then I believe they're gonna build another house on the other one.
What is the building that's there now?
There's a house there.
There's a house there.
And from what I understand, they want to build another house. So that has to be put on its own parcel because they can't do a second residence on it. So the second residence.
However, with the cul-de-sac, usually it's a publicly dedicated road, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Sometimes you have a private one.
and this one is not, it's Forest Service road.
Which is a publicly dedicated road.
Kind of.
That's why it's before you guys, is because of the change and road stuff, I didn't really know how to treat it. I mean, yes, the road's there, it's active, but you guys are doing minimal maintenance on it. Are these guys gonna come back and say, well, we wanna maintain? I mean, we can't let them maintain it. It's the Forest Service road. And they don't have an agreement, so I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, maybe the idea is just take a step back and look at what is the intent of the cul-de-sac and the limitation. It seems to be it's regarding what fire trucks, fire access, emergency access. maybe that's part of the thought process here is with that road being what it is, does it meet those requirements or those needs?
Well, it's the same as it has been, because the county used to go in there, turn around, come
Yeah.
back out.
I can kind of picture it in my mind, being
Yeah.
out there.
And the house is, what I was struggling with is the house is already there. So we're not changing the number of houses currently. There's 3 houses, that's what's there. But I know they're gonna come in and ask for another house. Does that change anything? I don't know. Acreage, they have it. I mean, density wise.
Maybe when they come ask for another one.
Well, I have to issue the building permit. You guys don't look at them. So I want to make sure if you approve this as is, you know that we're gonna issue a building permit on another structure over and above what's already out there.
Because this puts the building right back in that big.
Yes, so they would just come in for,
Goes into a pasture.
Is it Forest Service on all 4 sides,
yes.
completely surrounded by Forest Service?
And John just wanted, he just suggests that they have.
So the Forest Service owns the road and they control it. The county just has an agreement to do minimum maintenance on it. It seemed to me that it's up to the landowner. It's the landowner's risk, not the county's risk, on whether or not they have access. So I'm not sure that that's a factor for us to decide.
Okay.
I'm not sure it is either. The landowner has rights to subdivide and spark forest.
And it fits the, I
That's
mean,
all right.
it fits the zoning.
Yeah,
So did everyone see the request and the staff recommendations? If we start making motions?
I mean, it is part of it's on the county system, right?
No, no,
Yeah,
This is minimum
yeah,
maintenance.
but it's still part of our county system. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if we could, if the minutes could reflect that, please, just, removing the road from the secondary system is a much different process than changing the minimum maintenance. We did not go through that process.
No, that's correct.
For the very reason we didn't want to have the homeowners to have to go through the process of dealing with Forest Service to get access.
Yeah.
One of the reasons.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think this is one of those roads that it's not an unusual situation where we have a part of a county road on a Forest Service road. And the Forest Service says part of it's their road, we say it's part of our road, if that makes sense. And what you guys did is you didn't remove it from the system, you just reclassified it for maintenance purposes. So to the extent that the county has it on its system, theoretically, that's open for the public, right? Forest Service at some point could argue that, I don't know, but that's all speculative.
It's possible the landowners might have to get a special use permit to utilize that road.
It's probably not a bad idea, it would be a belt and suspenders approach.
And I think it's our job though to require it.
It's not on us. Right.
We are a unique county.
Public land is so fun.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately my question is, I mean, if you're not gonna require it as part of the approval of the plat, that's fine. We just need to know that we can change that. And then just making sure you understand that they're gonna come in and ask for another building permit on the remaining acreage, so the leftover piece. So they'll have 5 houses out there.
Okay.
So within the.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5.
Okay. And if the Forest Service shuts the gate someday, they won't be able to get to them. So.
Possibly, yes.
That's happened.
Mhm.
Move to approve the preliminary plat.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now we have a final plat for Maitland Partners.
This one is, final plat of a lot was previously approved on a preliminary plat back in October of 2024. Property zone park forest, 8 residences per 40 with 5-acre average. All of the lots proposed on the plat are 2 acres or more. The road system is extension of existing road built, Paradise Gulch Loop. Fire plan is in place and the lot has been mitigated. Staff recommends approval of the final plat as it matches the approved preliminary plat.
Motion to approve the final plan.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, now Kim Zersky.
I've gotten really good at saying that. All right, so, this is the final plat for Muley Hill subdivision. You guys have already approved a preliminary. And, this is the one that you guys did get a letter this morning. I don't even know if you guys got this. There is a letter from the neighboring property owner's attorney asking for the board not to approve it until that highway easement is put in. And I know this got shared with you guys, the staff report, but basically it matches the preliminary plat, but there is still some outstanding stuff in here. You can see that John Bay did go out and visit the property on 10/23/25, reported back that the work at the time looked good. Per his report, there are still some items that are not yet completed and or need additional attention, and so you can look at his report. That really is pretty normal. We just, when it's done and John says it's okay, he'll usually tell us it's okay. At the time of the April layout and the preliminary plat, there were neighbors with concerns about the secondary access to Matson Lane being vacated. The county commissioners did approve a vacation of that, and then they moved it over. There was a 66-foot public right-of-way in place, and now I believe it's a 50-foot private access easement that's in place. The owner only made a new road to the next road that was vacated due to the old road being on the drainage infrastructure, and we also had, the building was in there and all sorts of stuff. So that's why we wanted it to see it moved. At that time, the owner stated that he would provide individual access easements to the landowner. And that's kind of where the sticking point is as of today, unless it's changed in the last 5 hours, there is no.
Changed in the last hour.
Last hour? Okay, perfect. Basically, there was not an easement in place yet, which is what was requested when the preliminary plat was approved. So there was a condition on the approval of the preliminary plat that stated the pond should have a barrier around it, which I don't, did that get done yet? Okay, that was one thing I know that John was waiting on. And so we have that in there. So then we have our change to it.
Mr. Chairman, I think it might be helpful if Mr. Frederickson was allowed to address it.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is John Frederickson. I represent Mike in Alabama. The statement that there isn't an easement to Ms. Fitzgerald's property is incorrect. There was a deed easement that was executed by John Matson and Barb Matson back in 2013 that gave access to Tract B, Lot 2, which is the property owned by Ms. Fitzgerald, who's the complaining party here. And it gave access through Lot 7A all the way to the border of her property. And there was an exhibit. That document was recorded as document 2013-04385. I think the confusion came when the vacation happened and you had a public access, and that was then changed in there, it's private. But the access, the easement that was granted under this particular document continued through. But it's gotten so expensive for my client dealing with this thing. We have just decided that he's going to sign, and he has signed, a private access easement and agreement, which grants, again, Ms. Fitzgerald the right to go across this property. At the time of the easement in 2013, it was 40 feet wide. That continues for a small section, and then it joins a 50-foot private access easement that Mike has conducted or constructed on his property. She has the right to use that. So she's not out an easement, never was out an easement, but we would just hope that you will approve the recommend approval of the plan.
Mr. Chairman? John, I think what you're saying is this new agreement, basically, it ratifies the earlier agreement to the extent that someone might not recognize it or wonder what it was. Is that fair?
I don't know how much clearer it can be than they've got the easement runs with the land, it's binding upon the heirs. Her contention was, or her problem is, she bought a portion of land. I understand she carved a small lot out of there. And what my client is concerned about, he's building the road. He has no problem with her using the road. But if she decides to develop the rest of that road or the rest of her property and try to use that road, when the easement that was granted was only a secondary access in the case of emergency, he just feels that she should be responsible for some of those costs.
Mr. Chairman, the prior easement and the new easement both reflect that burden on the owner, correct?
That is correct.
Just so everybody knows, yeah. And if I may, Mr. Chairman, is it the Pattersons, is that the owners? Fitzgerald, I'm sorry.
Fitzgerald.
They have legal representation as well, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
And they're aware of this ratification agreement, as I'll call it? Or he is?
absolutely. She signed the agreement.
When did she sign it?
She signed that on back in October. October 21st.
And it's been recorded or not? It's an
Yeah, well,
easement
when I'm
that's been
done here
recorded?
today, I'm gonna get it recorded.
I read it. So again, we'll point out this is secondary access, not primary access. And so that seems important as well to consider
Yes.
that. I can't give anybody legal advice other than the board, but I don't see any issues or any reason.
I think the staff recommendation,
Where does that easement actually, where's that at?
whoever just got online, do it yourself.
I could show you.
It's right here on this map. So it's, this portion is what was vacated, the dark.
Okay,
They moved it over to here.
okay.
And then this is their road. And then right down here is a 40-foot easement.
And Mrs. Fitzgerald's at the bottom there.
Yes, right here. So this
all it did
40-foot
is just moved
easement,
it over a little bit.
yeah, this 40-foot easement is in place. It never changed. That part's there.
Correct.
This is the new road that got built, so it comes up here. And then this used to be 66-foot public. It got changed from a public to a private access easement. But the easement was dedicated on the plat. You can see that right here. The private access easement comes down this way.
Would it be right to assume that the new road where the easement is better than the old spot?
There was no road before.
So if you look at the staff recommendation, we recommended approval of the final plat with the condition that the final plat will not get recorded until the following conditions are met. Or obviously a letter of credit or member, they always have that option. John Bay had requested that additional gravel will be put on to meet the 4% gravel surface. I don't know if that's gotten done. He just said he needs to go out and check it once it's done. Additional gravel placed in the noted areas to adequately cover the subgrade, pumping through the surface material. Those were specifically out of John's notes. And then completion of the utility installation with there was some erosion control that just needed to take place. And then proof of the individual access easement being recorded. So what would happen is we would not do the plat until the easement's recorded,
So
which we've done that.
motion to approve the final following recommendations of staff.
Contingent upon the recording of that ratification.
Well, it's contingent upon all of these.
Yes.
Do you guys understand those conditions? You okay with those? Okay. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So then as soon as you're done with those items that John had requested, you just need to get a hold of him. And then he'll just come back.
Yeah, after Thanksgiving, we'll have it all done.
Okay,
Thanks.
so we'll just hold the plat. John Frederick, if you want to let me know when it's recorded,
Yes.
then I can get that, we can deal with the rest.
Are there any other landowners that we only know of two, but recommendations that talked about just at landowner, you know.
It said individual lots.
I don't understand your question.
Well,
Again, you're talking about
This is recommending that easements to each individual lot and.
The very last sentence, Amber.
Oh, the access easement to the lots and the landowners. That's just for you guys to know if there's any other lots or landowners that would be affected, but as far as I know, Fitzgerald's the
It's
only
Miss
one.
Fitzgerald.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, preliminary and final plat for Michael Schulte Trust.
Lot 63R of tract K, formerly lot 63 of tract K. Oh, let's look at the preliminary. Oh, that's right. Let's see if we can blow this up so you can see it a little better. So you can see here, there was just a lot line change. This was the old lot line, now it's moving over here.
That's all we're doing.
That's all you're doing.
That's all it's applied for.
Motion then is exempt.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Plat is exempt.
Motion to approve preliminary.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, motion carries. And the final.
Motion to approve final.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay. Preliminary plat and final plat for Four Bears in the Hills.
How is this different from a correction plan? Why isn't this just a corrected plat? If we're just changing the acreage on it?
It's corrected plat usually is like there was a pin wrong or something like that. Acreage not normally. So they're just redoing it.
So will this make the old plat go away then, or does it just amend it?
It just changes it. They're not asking you to vacate the plat though, because the other plat was already recorded. So it'll show that one and then I don't know for sure the process, but I think the deeds office puts some sort of a correction note or something on there. I don't know for sure.
So we just need one approval denial for the preliminary and final plat.
I don't know. Amy, are you online?
I am. I just had mentioned it to Jesse. The plat didn't go all the way through to commission. The surveyor pulled it before it was recorded. So there is no already recorded.
It just got approved at planning and zoning.
So we're essentially approving the same line, it's just that.
Just
it's in
moving
the
it.
right spot now.
Yep, it's in the correct spot. That's
Correct.
why I had to ask her if it went through the full process or not.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. We move to approve.
The both, the preliminary and the final.
Okay.
Who seconded?
Mike.
Okay, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, items from planning and zoning board members.
What time is the torpedo for Mike? Learn. I'm just kidding.
Anyone?
Do you have a new,
Just learn how to click the right.
webpage?
Oh. I thought it was actually easier.
I just need to figure it out.
I've never been to a Christmas party. We're just peasants.
Do they come to the Christmas party?
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, I was just thinking about that.
I
I was
go to
gonna
a Christmas party.
maybe suggest maybe that all the volunteers get invited. About the budget, but
I think it'd be nice, but it'd be even nicer if this whole system in here got fixed. Or
Yeah. I'll second that.
Why don't you
Cancel the
guys have
party.
your meetings up in the new big room at the gym?
There's discussion about that if you come to meetings.
We went once and they don't want us back up.
This is.
We decided we'd have our meetings, or they decided they'd have their meetings.
The biggest thing was the issue of getting information and things from here to there during a meeting if we needed. And for the setup and for everybody has to drive up there, the employees from here, drive over there.
And I would think you would be wondering if they have horns out for you, you just walk in.
Boy, that'd be a sad deal, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to go. Yeah.
Well, yeah, if I knew of any that were outstanding, I wouldn't be wondering about it. Yes, I'm fine.
I wouldn't come here either.
It's a different door. You have to go around.
Okay, anything else?
Safety, please.
Okay, anything from the public? You good?
No.
Okay, date and time for next meeting, Thursday, December 4th, 2025 at 1:30 PM. Anything else?
Nada?
Adjourned.
I'm not right on